Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining Acacia Counseling and Wellness in our first Wellness and Love webinar series. The webinar came together when we at Acacia wanted to find a new way to engage the community during these unprecedented times. Mental health will always be a priority to us, and this is one way we could continue providing resources, engagement, and opportunities to share wellness and love. Join us in the push for self-care and enlightenment of mental health every week in June on YouTube Live. Today's guest is Feather. They will be discussing using music to find intention. This session will be open for your questions and comments, so please use the chat feature on this webinar. We encourage your feedback and engagement. This webinar will be available on our YouTube channel following the session, so please subscribe to our channel to watch more of our videos and to participate in the rest of the webinars this June. Before we get started, we wanted to also introduce a few resources that we find valuable. Acacia is part of the Minnesota community, and we also know that what's happening is affecting not just one city, but cities all over the nation and the world. If you're looking for ways to help and support, you can start here, but we encourage you also do some research on your end, whether it's from Minneapolis or the community that you are a part of. As a counseling company, we know that it will take everyone's effort to help heal from trauma, process the deep-rooted racism, discrimination, and murder of Black and Brown communities, and to demand justice. We thank everyone who has contributed and are having dialogues, including our own providers who are helping clients during this time. So as you can see, there's a few resources on the screen. We have Black Visions Collective, Ethel's Club, the Loveland Foundation, and Campaign Zero. These are just a few organizations that we have interacted with and that we're sharing, but there are a ton more. So we recommend you looking into your communities as well. Lastly, if you're feeling that things are too heavy to bear right now, please use the crisis line. It's text HOME to 741-741. Thank you again for joining us today. We ask that you engage and participate as much as you can. So without further ado, I am happy to introduce Feather.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:04 in the morning in Honolulu, and I'm really happy to be here to talk about music with intentions, listening to music with intention, and just share a cup of coffee with y'all. I would like to start this off by saying this is totally a participation-based webinar. In order to have this conversation really flowing, please comment and interact whatever way is the best on YouTube right now. Corby or anyone in Acacia will be letting me know what's going on. I would also like to address privilege right away. I'm a multiracial brown woman who lives in Honolulu. I'm recognizing right now what's going on in Minneapolis, though I am from there. My heart is with y'all. I'm really appreciative that Acacia also participated in Blackout Tuesday and moved our webinar to today. This isn't just a problem to fix what's going on in the world. This is a problem to really dive deep in and figure out how you can participate, and then also your community and what systemic problems we can look into. And I'm hoping that with this talk today, with the webinar, we can just start by thinking about what our intentions are, not just with how we can use music with, but what our intentions are in the world and the community around us. So with all that said and up there, let's start with just what we came here for, which is how do we use music with intention? My journey with music has started since I was a teeny, tiny girl. I've used music to understand my emotions. I've used music to communicate with others. And I've not, I think it's only been recently since I became a therapist that I've been looking for resources to figure out how I can have people communicate their motivations and also communicate to themselves, their mind and their body. So my journey with music has started for a long time, but when it comes to sound therapy or music therapy, this is all brand new to me. I am not a sound therapist or music therapist. It is very interesting to me, and I think they do amazing healing work that is underutilized, and I think we can dive deep a little bit more as not only therapists but as an individual to figure out what we can do to heal our own wounds when it comes to trauma, but also heal our communities and maybe even set forth of what our intentions are today. A little bit of history. Music has always been used as a way to gather. My ancestors, we've used, as an indigenous woman, we've used music with the drum and singing. People know it as powwows. And that has been extremely healing. For a long time, that was not allowed. And then when it started coming back and being introduced, you could see communities thriving. You see little tots participating in grass dances, jingle jesses. Also, I know some of people with Black ancestors, they use music as healing as well. Just think of that low humming sound that I'm not going to do because I don't think I'll do it justice. That you can think of Black ancestors, Black people even today using to heal their soul. And there's a reason why that works. When we think of singing and music, it vibrates our body, right? And it's not only vibrating our body, it's vibrating our vagus nerve. Our vagus nerve comes all the way from middle of our brain, our very first part of our brain, all the way down to about our gut area. When you vibrate that, it sends signals throughout your body that either run, either calm down, or freeze, that flight or flight. And how can we tune in with that with sound or music therapy or just music in general to tap into that when it comes with our intentions as well? It can obviously, there's something going on with the communication with our mind and our body when we use music and that vibration. How can we use that for our intentions too? Some really good resources that I've found. There's a lot of stuff online. Please see a music and sound therapist if you're really, really, really into it. I know a lot of good people that are doing like the sounding forks or anything that involves that as well. But if you wanna, this is how I kind of started my journey. In grad school, I really was into the somatic side of therapy and had a lot of good talks with people about body and mind communication. It wasn't until I read and got to meet Resmaa. He has a book called My Grandmother's Hands, and he talks a lot about not only trauma of the body when it comes to white bodies and black bodies, but he also kind of talks about what we're talking about today, which is how sound and music can reverberate in our body to help us move forward. So please grab that book. It's not only an amazing book and super relevant for what today is, but also will help you on this journey. I really encourage you guys to find out what you like. When it comes to music, right? Not to brag, I have about 20,000 songs on my I guess Amazon music thing. I really do whatever song I'm in the mood for, I play it and I reach out to that to feel some type of way. That's what music's for, right? If I want to go dancing, I'm going to play some poppy music. If I want to, I don't know, be sad, I'm going to play some sad music. But how does that affect my intentions, right? And I want you guys to think about your own music and own playlists. What do you reach out for in the most? Right? My thing, what I reach out for the most, I reach out to what I like to call depression pop. Um, I don't know why. I feel like I'm I'm understood a little bit more. And maybe that's what I'm reaching out to. Like maybe that's my intentions is to feel a little bit more understood when I'm playing that type of music. What music do you guys reach out to? What are your intentions to reach out to that type of music? I also, not only for music, there's also sounds around us that we reach out to. And maybe it's a time to not only separate to them, um, because we need to practice self-care. One sound in particular I'm thinking about is maybe songs with sirens in them. Have you ever heard a song in the car and then all of a sudden you hear a siren and you're like driving and you're like, oh, where's that coming from? But it's coming from the song. What happens to your body when you hear something like that? For some people, I know it could be a sign for relief and hope and like, oh, I'm going to get helped. But I know for a lot of black and brown bodies, it's a sign for fleet. That vagus nerve is coming in to telling you to run. And I've seen that in my own community where you hear the little whoop whoop and people just scatter. Um,
Hey, Feather.
yeah.
I'm reading some of the comments here on YouTube and just wanted to read some out to you. We have Jacqueline who said, I try to listen to music that makes me feel motivated to change things. We have Flint who says, I listen to a lot of music that helps me feel understood. Then we have Margie who says that instruments with feelings.
Ooh, instruments with feelings. Okay. Yeah, a lot of, I'm going to start with Jacqueline. Yeah. When a song that really motivates me, that helps me get up when I don't want to get up, is Rise Up. I think you guys know that song where it goes, I rise up, rise through the day. Like that song. If I really cannot make it through a day, if I'm having a real, real bad day, that song is on repeat. I will listen to it for 20, 30 times in a row. Something about that song that clicks in my head, clicks in my body, clicks in my mind, and helps me set that intention of continuing pushing forward, finding motivation throughout the day. And that's what I mean by how can we hone into that moment? Do we need to listen to songs right now that do you need to listen to your depression pop songs like I do? No. I don't think I really need to be understood right now. I think I need to find some motivation. I need to find a way to help, maybe even a way to learn. There's music out there that will help you study. I'm really a big fan of that lo-fi music. I think that's what you call it. I don't know. I just Google it. That helps me learn and study and maybe even get some work done. What are some music that what are some intentions that people have right now that they need to do during these times? What are some intentions that we have
Hey,
during these
Heather.
times? Oh, yeah.
Maddie commented.
What are some music that what are some
Maddie commented.
Music that what are some
I like to listen to music to help me feel unblocked when I'm having trouble feeling anything.
I love that. What songs do you listen to? Send me that playlist, right? Send me that playlist where I think a lot of people, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's not the unblocking, it's like the how do I express my feelings, right, in a proper way, or maybe an improper way. Like how do I express that in a way that I can feel without being shoving it down. There's also I love that. I'm gonna keep the ball rolling. I really do love that. I want to know what song that is, what songs you listen to. There's also songs that come from nature that we that at least help me relax, right? Rainfall helps me relax. That makes me sleep like a baby. Maybe that's what I need to reach out to. I haven't been sleeping well lately, but I know I imagine many of you haven't either. My intentions are to sleep, so what do I need to sleep? And I'm curious about what is it about nature that helps us sleep? I know some people it may not be rainfall, it could be crashing waves. There's a lot of crashing waves here in Hawaii, so I know that that can be really relaxing. A lot of people like to picture themselves at a beach. Or the sound of birds chirping in the morning. I can hear birds right now as I'm talking to y'all because the sun is coming up. Does that mean it's maybe the sounds of birds chirping? Does that mean a sound of a new day to me? Maybe I got to reach out to that. A sound of a new day, things are still going to get better, whatever my problems are, whatever am I thinking can be paused. See how my mind was communicating that and see how my body was showing up being like, okay, it's time to wake up. luckily, luckily we live in a day of internet, of a lot of things we can access on YouTube or anything that you can think of that will help you find that intention.
I have a question, Feather.
Go ahead, shoot.
What are your thoughts on those? So either sounds from nature that widely a lot of people use sounds of nature, like you said, like to go to sleep or to find their breath
Mm,
and to connect. And there are some people who find certain things annoying or unbearable, or the sound of a
mm.
bird chirping is not quite what they want to hear ever. And do you have any thoughts on that, or even thoughts on music where maybe you recommend music to someone and they just it's not something that they want to listen to, or they listen to and they don't get why you like that artist? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I really do. Ooh, I love talking story about music. I when something is not really their vibe or that they don't gel with, I mean that's just what you just don't gel with, right? Music and intentions, that's definitely a an individual experience. My body responds to certain music way different than how your body could respond to music. Something clicks in my head way more than how something might click in your head. For example, I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is. But something about like a raspy, angry woman's voice singing with a guitar. Oh, it always gets me. Always gets me. I know that's not what a lot of people want to listen to. A lot of people want to listen to, huh? Example? Oh, Jessie Reyes. I mean, Amy Winehouse. Like, let me just whip out the list, okay? That's just who I love. I have a whole playlist of it. I'm not gonna pull it up because it will distract me. But I know not a lot of people want to gel with that. Right. I've had a couple people be like, why do we have to listen to this? Why do I feel angry when that comes up? And me, I say, well, I feel understood, right? If you don't gel with it, you don't gel with it. It's definitely an individual person. I don't think there's such thing as a bad music. Mm, I don't. It's just stuff that I don't gel with. For example, I don't gel well with house music. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's just like a lot of like, oons, 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 oons. My heart is open. And I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. And I just like feel like I'm bouncing. I don't really want to bounce. I want to feel motivated, want to feel moving. I don't know, I want to be understood. Maybe that's what I reach out to the most. And so if anyone has anything that is like, that doesn't work for me, that's good too, because then you know what you don't reach out for. Then you know that if you don't gel with that, don't listen to that. That's just going to aggravate you. Is that your intention, to be aggravated? No. My intention is to be pushed through the day. My intention is to sit down and study. My intention is to this. Reach out for that. Reach out for things that do that. I hope that answered your question. Um, I think one thing that I said in there too, that when we think about music and definitely with intention, is vibe. What's a vibe? What is that? What's a vibe? Um, I feel like me answering this is answering out to my mom. I feel like that's a question she would have. Um, Definitely a vibe is what you feel works for you. What are you feeling in the moment? A vibe isn't just one thing, it's many things. It's how you are you reverberating along with it. Are you going to be able to lose yourself into that music? Maybe your intentions is to honestly not think about your problems for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I know I usually try to do that at whenever I want to go dancing at night. A lot of those, there's certain clubs or certain places I like to go to definitely listen to that. And I know a lot of those songs are just and loud and just make you not be able to think for 5 minutes. And I think that has a lot to do with setting too. Setting is so important when it comes to music, definitely with your intentions. Are you listening to music in a concert? Do you want that one on one experience with the artist that you're there? Are you listening to music in the car and you're trying to get to your next destination? I know when I listen to music in a car, um, I'm singing. And if someone's arguing with me about it, get out my car. Um, I love singing in the car. It helps me, doesn't make it mundane going from A to B. It makes it experience. And I've had so many good times, memories made by singing in the car. I've had a couple moments crying because I felt the music so much. Um, and you can make memories by doing that. What is your setting when you're listening to music? Are you listening it to on a record player? I just got a record player the other day, y'all. I get to listen to my Carlos Santana vinyls, a whole nother experience. I get to maybe even time travel with my music. Maybe my intentions is to not even be present here. It's to be a little bit further away. Go ahead.
So this is from Madison. Do you think the volume of the music has to do with your connection to it? And I'd also add too, when we think about vinyl as well, like, some people argue that it sounds better on vinyl or that certain artists sound better on vinyl. So kind of looking into that of, certain mediums and how you're presented music and sound. What are your thoughts on that? But also, do you think the volume of music has to do with your connection to it?
The volume is, um, I don't think so. I don't think the volume matters your connection to it. The reason why I say that is when I think of like the quietest music, or maybe hold on, give me a second to think about that one. Psyched myself out. Um, Maybe not the connection. I guess connection is very like you can make connections whether it's loud or quieter. Um, that's a very good question. Let me put let me get back to that. What was the other question?
Using different mediums. So, I think, vinyl is like a good example of music coming out differently. It sounds differently. And maybe not all music today is made for that type of medium, but kind of your impression or, even like a reason why you chose vinyl or why you like or excited about that as well.
I definitely I hope my answer is answering your question. I definitely think how you're setting up your music can definitely impact your music experience, right? Which then will impact your intentions. If I'm playing a vinyl, I know I'm going to be playing music for the next hour and a half. Um, and that's my intention. is to play that one record. You can't really switch up when it comes to vinyl, right? Can't just play like a song, take it off, grab the big disc and put it like if I wanted to switch through different songs, I would just play it on my phone. Um, so I think definitely when people say, "Oh, it's better to listen to that," I think they're just setting up their intentions. Um, I wouldn't say it's more or less better. There's definitely I definitely like certain albums on vinyl compared to like live streaming it, but that's because I'm setting up to be in that moment with that music. And I don't know. I don't, this is just my humble opinion. I know that many people in the music world like to say that it's better to listen it to vinyl, but I think if you think about vinyl, it's definitely a thing that you're setting yourself up to listen to it for a while and that artist and their story when it comes to that album. Yeah.
I have a
Going back, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. I have a comment from Jacqueline who I believe is responding to like the question of vinyl. It's like a special ritual, sort of. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree. I think like I have a vinyl at home, and I 100% agree with what you're saying in terms of it is like you're more intentional about the music because you know that wherever you're sitting and wherever you're playing that music that you're going to be getting up to change it and flip it over. You're going to be kind of enjoying it in its entirety, although it's physically broken up usually into separate sides. But yeah, that idea of like if you're putting it on, it's an intentional process that you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be listening to this music versus like I'll just throw some songs out there. Or I'm just going to play one song
Yeah.
and whatever the case may be. But yeah, I love that piece a lot.
Yeah. When it comes to like liking it more better, I think that's um based on the person's opinion. I wouldn't I think when it comes to intention, it's definitely like that's what I'm usually using vinyl for. Um
And Flint says that they like the grainy sound of some old records because it reminds them of their grandmother.
oh, see like see setting is so important how you play your music too, especially with intention. Like, I'm sure Flint is reaching out to be like, I just want to make that connection with my grandma on it. Um, Usually, Nora Jones is like that with me and my grandma. Um, I don't know why, I just hear her voice whenever I listen. Um, yeah, I'm just absorbing that right now. Okay.
Are there any other music examples or sounds that kind of remind you of either your childhood or special times in your life? And I think for some of us too who are making those connections, what can you use that if there's a song or something that reminds you of certain things? Can you use that to set intention, or do we need to process through that before we're able to set that intention?
Mm, no, I think a lot of music is especially with childhood music, I think a lot of childhood music is definitely a conditioning, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. Um, for example, I think whenever I listen to Selena, right? Unfortunately, but fortunately, it I think of like cleaning my house, like Saturday mornings, my mom like being like, it's time to either clean the house or go to the farmer's market with my grandma. Like and not having a Saturday off really to sleep in. So whenever I hear Selena, I'm just like, what do I need to wipe down? What surface do I need to wipe down? I think definitely that's a childhood thing. I do listen to Selena by myself too. Um, but I definitely put on that music to clean. That's my intention, is to clean a lot of like, I also think definitely like Tony Braxton. Like every time I hear that, I have to clean the house. My mom would play that album over and over and over again whenever she was cleaning. Um, I think, and now every time I hear it, I'm like, I'm crabby, right? That's not my intention to be crabby with Tony Braxton. Definitely beautiful voice, but it's like I think sometimes music can get conditioned in you, especially childhood music. So if you're, for example, what Flint was talking about, like if I want to reach out to maybe some nostalgia, maybe some connection, I'm gonna listen to a vinyl on my record player. Me, if I want to clean my house, which I gotta clean this house, um, put on some Selena, maybe put on some other music to get that done. That's my intention for the day. Um, and I think that connects to nostalgia mostly, right? I also, when I want to reach out to my childhood, I know a lot of people are going to laugh. A lot of like nostalgia is definitely pop princess Britney Spears to me. Um, I love her. She she I have all her CDs. That was what I was using most of my money for, was to buy CDs. Nobody uses CDs anymore. And I don't even have a CD player, but I still have all these CDs, right? What are my intentions with that? I don't know. But I keep them for the nostalgia, and I think music definitely brings you back to that. And I need to find a CD player. I It's not the same to me playing Britney Spears on my phone or hearing it at wherever I'm dancing, at a party, wherever, club, compared to when I think of little 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old Feather picking up whatever is near her and being like singing Britney Spears, right? We all have our favorite Britney. And I think that the intention of how you want to touch back into that is important too. What are your guys's okay, so this is my one of my favorite questions. What are some songs that you can use for that? You know what I mean? Like what are some, because everybody has a different song. I feel like everybody has a connection in that, but also huge differences, right? A lot of people, I'll have that connection with Selena, and that they're like, every time I hear her, I have to clean my house, right? Usually have that connection with like um, my Mexican community. Um, what are some songs that you listen to when you're in childhood that bring you back to either that inner child or bring you back to that moment where where were you at? I know there's certain songs that they listen to and they're like, I'm back here again. Um, when I listen to Britney Spears, I definitely am back at Clifton, back in Shakopee, singing Britney Spears at the top of my lungs. Um, what are some of your guys' songs?
And say Jacqueline says that um, it wasn't it wasn't Selena that got that reminds them of cleaning with their mom. It was disco.
Oh, Were you dancing and like mopping? Oh my goodness, I always did that. That was my fave. Um, that is cool. I like that.
Danielle says 2000s Christina Aguilera takes them back.
Okay.
We have Jewel. Madison says Jewel always in their mom's car running errands on a weekend afternoon.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I know for me personally, I I think I started appreciating music more in my later years, and so places that I lived throughout, especially post college, there are certain
Yeah.
albums that really define those times. So, for instance, Frank Ocean's "Blonde" was like my St. Paul album when I lived in St. Paul.
Mhm.
Um, SZA's "Control" defined my entire time in Minneapolis, so
Yeah.
that's definitely for me. So whenever I listen to that music, when I listen to Frank Ocean's "Blonde," it takes me right back to being on the bus, going to classes, going back to my St. Paul apartment. But yeah, for me, that's what brings me back for sure.
Yeah. I think it's time travel, man. That's magic. I don't care what anyone says. That's magic. Um, I think an artist that really brings me back to definitely grad school or the calm before the storm, before taking a test, before doing a big presentation, is definitely like Lana Del Rey. Um, just with me and Corby, like I just remember like we commandeered a whole classroom and just played Lana Del Rey the whole time before a test. And our intention was to go into that test not anxious and maybe like sway a little bit. That's another thing. Music. Oh my goodness. Music makes you dance. How healing is dancing? Not only is that physical exercise, but it's also like some something external is definitely like in you, making you feel where you have to move your body and make that connection. You're communicating back to music, saying that I feel this, I feel it. Um, maybe that's your intention, is to dance and to get exercise, but also like to like feel more than what's going on around you. Right? Maybe it's not definitely dancing, but it's also just like rocking motion, right? When you think about like old school rap where they just like bob their head like this. Maybe I just want to do that. I just want to like jam a little bit. I love that. Oh, I love this. I love doing this. This is great, y'all. Um, I know a lot of times too. It's definitely not my vibe, but I know a lot of times too. People like to go to raves and festivals, um, those concerts to move too. I mean, you're constantly moving for like 6 hours and like jumping up and down. Maybe that's their intention, is just to jump, 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 jump. You see all these beautiful, like choreographed dances, and you can communicate that way too, through dance with music. That's how you can communicate. I love it. It's so cool.
I just want to read some of the other comments coming through. So Flint said that they can't remember the specific artist, but anything that played at the public school, they are instantly transported and can smell the pool. Marty says
Mm.
Motown. Jennifer says Black Eyed Peas takes them straight back to elementary school.
Yep.
Danielle says Red Hot Chili Peppers and Sublime takes them into a summertime vibe.
Yeah, definitely. I think another song that like I don't like working out. Okay, I don't like it. It's not my thing. Um, but whenever I listen to a song, oh, what song is it? Help me. It's a weekend song. Yeah. What is it? I can't remember it. You know it. But there's a Weekend song that every time I listen to it, I want to run. So if I ever have like the intention to go running, which is rare, I I usually play that song. Um, False alarm, there it is. False alarm. Um, every time I hear that song, just like the beginning where it just goes, do, 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 and I just like I can literally feel my body just going like run. Like, what are some songs that you feel like it's uncontrollable, like it makes you have to move like that? Um, I know there's another song that also makes me want to run like that. That was introduced to me in high school or middle school. I don't remember the song, but it also makes me want to run. It's a song by um, Bullet to My Valentine, and it makes me want to run. I have no control over my body, and it makes me want to do that. Sorry, y'all. The um, trash collector is here. What are some songs that make you guys want to, that you have no control over? It doesn't have to be running. That's my example.
Say, we've got just two more questions here, and then we'll wrap up for today, Feather. But the first one is, what or do you, since you do practice therapy in Hawaii, do you bring music or do you bring sounds to your practice or to how you approach certain things, or do you invite kind of the space to do so?
Yes, 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 yes. I usually work with the keiki out here, so the children out here. Um, the I think kids specifically too, and a lot of adults have a hard time communicating their feelings. Um, and asking them what their favorite artist is or who they listen to is like the easiest way to open up, right? I'm a very music heavy person. Um, and someone telling me they're like, oh, I really like, say it's a brand new artist. I'm trying to think of like someone, like, say they like, I'm just going to use The Weeknd again. Um, they're like, oh, I really like The Weeknd. I'll be like, oh, what do you like about him? And The Weeknd usually sings a lot of that, like depression pop songs. Um, and they'll tell me, I think that he sings a lot of like this. I feel he had a whole album called Melancholy, you guys. Like, if that's their favorite album, I think that's telling. It's kind of like I can tell something's going on, right? And I definitely use it within my therapy session to connect and build rapport. I also use it to um, as a way to see what's going on with the body, because there's a lot of body. I love doing like work, seeing what's going on with the body, because you can work on your mind, but you also got to work on your body. Um, if there's a sound that just is, as the kids like to say, as my kids like to say, that makes me cringe. Um, for example, like whispering makes me cringe. Oh my God, it makes me cringe. I do not like ASMR. Um, I think that can also tell me what's going on. Why don't you like whispering? And it could be a trauma response. It's like I said, I'm not a music or a sound therapist. I've seen music and sound therapists do amazing work. I also work with children with autism, um, autism spectrum disorder, and I've seen kids after doing a music class smiling because they were able to have that connection with a teacher that was singing at the beat that they're setting. Or I've seen kids talking because they were able to say faster, slower, and they haven't talked before. They're learning how to vocalize. Um, so I use it in a different way compared to other therapists, especially sound and music therapists. Um, I use it as a rapport building a lot of the time, but I know that music and sound can be used as a way to heal. I also think of music being able to heal like baby newborns. There's like articles about that where they're able to grow faster if they're listening to lullabies. How beautiful is that? That's magic, magic. Um, so yeah.
I've got one question here from Dalton. Um, so they said, how can this translate into protest or what's happening right now? This work makes me feel so tense, and I'm listening to you. Listening to you makes me realize that I should dance more. I'm not a dancer, but would love some tips to move this tension.
Definitely. So that's your intention, right? I love that. My intention is to remove tension from my body. I need to dance. I need to do. I think my answer is a little bit complicated. I can give you all my suggestions of dance music, right? But my dance music, like I said earlier, is going to be a little bit different from what makes you dance. This is definitely an individual kind of approach. Um, I think when it comes to protesting, um, listen to definitely listen to the artists that are speaking out, that have songs like that. I also think of like, I know Beyonce has a bunch of like has Formation and all these different songs that get you ready and ramped up and going. Maybe your intention is not to dance. Maybe it's just to let go of some intense feelings. It's definitely an individual approach. I think dancing music. Shoot, what do you want? Let me develop a playlist for you. Um, I think it's definitely an individual experience. Play around with it. That's the cool thing about music. If you don't like it, you don't gotta listen to the next song. Boop, next. Um, ask a dance song. Now I gotta look up this one. A dance song that always makes me dance. Um,
And I'm thinking too, kind of to follow down your like to get you ramped up and to get you going, get you out there. It whether or not you're physically out there protesting, but even music that isn't necessarily a dance song that you can dance to and anything that you can kind of feel that rhythm to.
mhm,
Anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Adele fan. So, but there are times where Adele can speak to me and help validate my feelings, like we talked about earlier in the webinar. And it makes me feel better because I'm feeling kind of what she's feeling or adjacent. But it also is like some of her music, and it doesn't have to be the poppiest record on her album, but some of that music just gets me dancing, gets me moving. Um,
mhm.
but yeah.
Um, yeah, it's and Adele for me, it doesn't get me dancing. It gets me. It's definitely my depression pop reach out songs. I know one artist that always gets me dancing is like Dua Lipa. She's very like dance hall. Um, explore her music a little bit. If you don't like it, I promise you're gonna find someone. That's the cool thing about artists. There's other artists that are like it, and you can just be like, oh, I like this person, or oh, I like this person. I mean, that's how I discover majority of my artists. That's one of the cool things about music. It's so individualized. To give you pure examples of what I do, I don't think that would be fair to you. I think I think it would honestly, the exploration is what is also healing and can help you as well.
So we have to wrap it up, but I wanted to I wanted to ask, do you have any challenges for people or any thoughts on kind of how people can now take this and either go about today or go about tomorrow?
Yeah, so it's definitely working backwards from this whole thing where it's just, what is my intention today? What is what is my intention today? Who do I who do I reach out to find that intention? And maybe even notice what your mind and your body are doing. Are they communicating with each other? Is your mind saying, "Oh, my intention is to do a lot of work for the protesting," right? Am I gonna listen to depression pop songs? No, that doesn't get me there. Will I listen to Beyonce's Formation? Probably. Yeah. Finding what find intention behind your music. Because that can be so healing. Is your intention to heal? What are some things that you can reach out to? Is it really healing? Or do you think it is? What is your mind saying? Is it different from what your body's saying? Why is that communication different? Where did that come from? Um, so I think it's just do do exploration around it. There is no right answer because I can't give you one right answer because it's individualized um, in its approach. And I think I just challenge everyone to think about what songs they listen to and what are their intentions to it. Just a little bit. Just take that one step. Doesn't have to be every song or every day.
Well, thank you so much, Feather. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate you two getting up so early in Hawaii to just present this to us all and to really kick off our Wellness and Love webinar series. We cannot thank you enough, and I'm going to be sending you a bunch of coffee cards and self care kits and maybe a sleep mask to help if necessary. But I really, really appreciate you coming here and speaking on this and helping us to kind of realize what intentions we can set for ourselves and how to utilize these external sources of sound and music to then help that intention come to fruition.
Thank you for having me and having coffee with me this morning.
All right. Okay, so thank you everyone for tuning in. So next week we have our next webinar. We have actually two webinars next week set. So for Tuesday, June 9th at 9 a.m., we have our webinar set with Jonathan, who will be doing a water cooler chat. So he'll be talking a lot about transition, about moving forward through COVID and how everything is kind of impacting and how to move forward for himself. He'll be heading into graduation. So for anyone who's recently graduated or looking for the next step and want to relate and want to chat about that, that's an opportunity to tune in 9 a.m. PST time or PST Pacific time to watch Jonathan here on YouTube. And then also at 5 p.m. Pacific time on June 9th, next Tuesday, we'll be having some evening yoga with one of our mental health advocates in our Arcadia La Jolla office. So they'll be doing some evening yoga and a little bit of guided meditation. So that will be with Sheetal. So please subscribe to our channel to get some updates. We thank everyone who came in, everyone who participated and joined in the discussion, and we'll see you all next week.